Hi, I'm Margaret. Tell me, have you ever tried white pineapple? It's sweeter and less fibrous than regular yellow pineapple, and it's perfect as a filling for my white coconut cake. I've been wanting to make a white cake for a long time, and I thought coconut would be the perfect cake to try this with. This week I'm making the sponge for the cake, so let's give it a go. Now, I'm using desiccated coconut, so I'm going to soak it for a few hours with coconut milk. This will soak into the coconut and make it beautifully soft in the cake. I just need to cover it in cling film now and leave it in the fridge for a few hours, or even overnight. Now, the first thing to find for this white cake is the very best vegetable shortening. Some brands don't taste very nice at all. You need something that's been made for baking. In the UK, Trex is my choice. Just like a regular cake, this will need creaming. And it's best to whisk the vegetable shortening just like you would with butter before adding the caster sugar. Again, this needs whisking well. It needs to be beautifully creamy. The more you whisk, the lighter it will become. And when you think you've whisked it enough, just whisk it a couple more minutes. And then it will be ready. Scrape down the sides occasionally to make sure that everything is well mixed in. And then add half of the egg whites. I'm using egg whites, of course, to keep the batter as white as possible. Mix that in really thoroughly. It might curdle a little bit, and you can either add a teaspoon of flour or just keep mixing. It should smooth itself out. Then the rest of the egg whites, and let's just sap up that flavour with a little bit of coconut flavouring. And then a final whisk. Again, the more whisking the better. The more whisking, the lighter your cake will be. Now, whisking is one way of making a softer cake. Another way of keeping the cake really moist is adding oil of some sort. And today, to stay in with the theme, I've chosen coconut oil. At room temperature, coconut oil is usually a solid, so it's a good idea if you're using it in baking to melt it with a little heat, then set it aside until it's cooler before adding it to the batter. But today, it's so hot in my kitchen, when I opened the cupboard door, it had already melted. I didn't have to do a thing. So let's scrape down those sides again before we add the coconut. You'll see how much it's soaked up that coconut milk. It's really lovely and thick and creamy. And we just need to stir that in now. Now, if you can find cake flour, it might work quite well in this recipe. If not, make sure you sieve the flour really well with a teaspoon of baking powder, and that way, because the mixture is so wet, it helps the flour to be incorporated much more easily. So less mixing, more fluffiness in the batter. And to ensure that the batter remains light, I'm using a spatula and folding this flour in. You can see I'm going round the edges and then through the middle. Folding like this is more gentle than stirring. I've brushed these 8-inch cake tins with the smallest amount of coconut oil, and then I've popped a circle of baking paper into the bottom of each one. Let's make them as even as possible. You could always use a weighing scales to make absolutely sure, and then spread them out a little bit to help them level while baking. Just pop them into the oven, and when they come out, let them cool completely in the tin. Now I've given you a few sneak previews of the topping. You already know that I filled it with white pineapple. And on Monday, I'll show you exactly how I did this and also how I topped and decorated it. So thanks for joining me today. I do hope you've enjoyed watching. Do take care and I'll catch you soon.